Loki, Season 1, Episode 6. This was good. It wasn't good because it was so filled with action or the story was so compelling. This episode was good because it has a future. It leads to bigger things. Okay. So the Lokis are together. If you saw the last episode, the Lokis, Sylvie Loki, regular Loki, are together, and they're going to the citadel. They're kind of doing a Wizard of Oz thing. They've gone along the yellow brick road, and they've gotten to Oz. So now they need to see the man behind the curtain, and it is Kang. Who'd have thought that? Who'd have thunk that, man? I am still geeking out about that. You know, I knew it was Kang. And I was talking to different people, and I was screaming Kang at my TV like Captain Kirk screaming Khan when he found out he got abandoned on a planet. And now, justified. I had to be Kang. I mean, back when the Avengers started going through time, I mean, time is Kang's front yard. How many times have you seen some little old dude yelling, "Get off my lawn," to people? That's Kang. If you're traveling through time, you're on his lawn, man. So, yeah, they were on his lawn. So they come there, they confront him. Spoilers at this point. They come to confront him, and he's like, "Yeah, man, just come on in. I'll open the door." And he lets them into his citadel. This version of Kang is being played by Jonathan Majors. And he did this version kind of zany, you know what I mean? He was kind of zany as Kang, but it's okay because he can play multiple versions of himself because he is literally multiple versions of himself. Imagine this, explaining Kang in a nutshell. Imagine you have the ability to travel through time. And you've traveled from 1990 to the year 2090, right? Let's say from 1990 to the year 2000. Okay, you traveled that far. You've lived through that entire time. Now let's say you travel back to 1991. There's a you there in 1991. So now there's two of you. Now let's say you travel back to 1991 again. Now there's three of you there. Now let's say you confront the other two. Now all three of you are actively knowing about the time traveling abilities of the other two. And then the three of you travel through time. And you're doing this over and over and over, running into yourself in different places. He's everywhere through time, and he often carries a different name. Sometimes he's the Scarlet Centurion. Sometimes he's Ramatut. Sometimes he's Immortus. Sometimes he's Kang. He's all kinds of different people. One thing important to know is he is potentially the descendant of Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, the leader of the Fantastic Four, and his arch rival, Dr. Doom. So their children, sometime grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, sometime down in their lineage, these two villains crossed. The two smartest people in all of Marvel comic books, essentially. They genetically cross and create Kang in the future. So he's the next level villain because he has the intellect, essentially the intellect of these combined masterminds, or at least the intellect that their lineage would lead him to. And he's got future tech. Imagine this. Imagine today, with the technology today, somebody told you to go and attack the Revolutionary War, America's Revolutionary War, and they've got muskets, right? Muskets and sabers and bayonets that they can tie to their muskets, and that's pretty much the cutting edge of their weapon technology. And then you go back there with, I don't know, a battleship and 100 space rockets and jets and the U.S. Marines and tanks and subs. They would think you were from another planet. That's how Kang is perceived today. He's got technology that is so far advanced to us, to coin a phrase, it seems like magic. But it's technology. He tells you it's technology, man. It's technology. Nuts and bolts. But his technology is so advanced to ours that our technology is almost insignificant compared to him. He's basically a time-traveling god with his technology. So he often attacks. And the Avengers, to their credit, are such a great team that they can often repel his attack. The Fantastic Four, to their credit, are such a great team that they can often repel his attack. But usually it takes a team of people, a bunch of people, to stop him. Sort of like with Thanos. It took a lot of people to stop Thanos. It's going to take a lot of people to stop Kang. Because, I mean, in the show, if you've watched it, and this is spoilers, I think I've said that already, but just in case, spoilers. In the show, he tells them, well, his little clock tells them, hey, man, you want to rule? Sure, I'll let you do that. You want to kill Kang? Yeah, no problem. Or you want to kill Thanos? No problem. Because for him, even though Thanos is a terrible, powerful entity, he's still a caveman compared to Kang and his technology. So he's like, you want him off the board? I'll take him off the board. Because he's beyond our technology in a way that, like I said, would be our technology fighting cavemen or something like that. It would be completely lopsided. They usually have to trick him or get him into some kind of position where he's forced to give up. But if he just wanted to come here and just straight up knuckle up, you couldn't stop him. Sword of Damocles, look that up. So he's fighting against, well, he's not fighting. The two Lokis are fighting against each other because they're thinking, what do we gain by killing him? Because he tells him, look, man, if you kill me, I'm stopping everything from happening. I'm controlling everything, but it's to stop a worse threat. Yeah, I'm a villain. I'll admit that. But I'm the only guard at the door. Man, if I go, there are evils coming through that you could not possibly imagine. What are they? Evil versions of me. So they're like, oh, okay, so wait a minute. You're stopping worse things from coming? Because Loki already knows, in his mind, the Infinity Stones were the end-all, be-all. These guys, people who work for Kang, were collecting them and putting them in, shoeboxes and rolling them around, using them as paperweights. That's power is nothing compared to him. His people are above the Infinity Stones. So Kang's above his people. So Loki knows this, so he's like, whoa. I'm a liar and I know liars. I don't think he's lying about this part. He's stopping something worse from coming. We can't kill him. Change your mind. Sylvie's like, nah, I've been waiting my whole life. And remember, she's essentially an immortal, so her whole life could have been just the time it took for her to become an adult. Or it could have been like 1,000 years. I mean, who knows? But she's like been waiting her whole life to kill this dude. He's right there. She's like, nah, I'm going to kill him. So they dispute it. They fight, which is actually a pretty cool fight because the physical and the magical, it was a pretty cool fight. Then Sylvie wins. She kills Kang. And his last words are, see you soon. Because he knows he's coming back. He's like, look, you kill me, and what's the worst that happens to me? I come back. Because he exists, 20 minutes ago. He exists 3 years ago. He exists 5 years ago. You kill him in the future, you didn't kill his past selves. They're still there. Think about it. And now, you gotta be prepared for an onslaught from other dimensions, essentially, worse versions of him coming to this dimension. And they do. Which leads to my curiosity about what's going to happen in the MCU. He's here. Kang's here. Which also means that there's got to be a Reed Richards and there's got to be a Doctor Doom here already. They've got to be here somewhere. So I'm very curious about that. And with that, the Fantastic Four, Latveria, all of that stuff's got to exist because he exists. You know? It's like your children existing before you. It can't happen. So he can't exist before the people who created him. So they got to be here. I'm really excited about that. I'm excited about all of this. You know, DC had a bad start, but I've thought about it. I'm going to come up with a video to explain why I think they could do, if they revamp their whole thing, a way that they could do it, that they could rival the intensity of the movies in Marvel, and people would flock to those movies also. But Marvel has laid the pathway of an incredible story, the Infinity Story. Now they're laying a pathway to what appears to be Kang's story, but I think it's going to be bigger. I think it's going all the way up to Galactus. I'm not sure, but I think so. But this episode was good. It was really good. In fact, I would give this episode of Loki, with that last reveal, 9 bags of popcorn. 9 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that you've seen the video, let's talk about it in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn Passport.